Hey guys, Stealth here, and welcome to ICBM Escalation, the sequel to ICBM, and I'm very excited to play it. Thank you to Slytherin for giving me a key for this game so I can have a look at it and show it to you. The game is expected to come out in November, so it's very soon, really. About a month or two. The game has a lot more depth and a lot more game options. I'm not going to be able to cover everything in this particular video because there's just so much that you can put on the new tab of this game. There's a lot of things, such as new game modes. The basic ICBM game had essentially one game mode, which was just play the game. I think standoff in this case comes fairly close to it. You had an expected round for about 1 to 2 hours. You could do it faster if you really wanted to. You could have really quick rounds of 20 minutes if something went horribly wrong. So in that sense it was more along the blitz lines. But now ICBM Escalation also introduces Conquest, which has an expected length of 4 to 6 hours. And yes, thankfully you can save this. And ideally in multiplayer you can save it too. Because these days I'm not sure people have time to play 4 to 6 hours. At any rate, what we also have is a campaign. I'm not going to be looking at that right now. I'm going to be doing a Conquest. And this is going to be probably part of a mini-series of videos, so expect 3 videos on this in order just to go through all of the stuff and see if I can live. Be advised, I have gone through the tutorial. There's a very good tutorial. It took me about an hour or 2 to go through all the mechanics, some of which are the same, some which are different. Now, we have a couple of new players on the block. We have Central America. This was not there before. You used to just have North and South. Europe and Russia are the same. East Asia is the same. Asia Pacific, I think used to be called Oceania in the base game. We have Middle East North Africa. So North Africa and the Middle East are now one block, whereas the Middle East, I think, used to be called West Asia. And then we have Central/South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa. All of these are going to have their own challenges. All of these are going to have their own opportunities. As for tech level, you got 10 tiers for tech, starting in the atomic age and we ending up in the future. So all of this is going to be able to get researched, and my god, there is a lot of research. As is normal in the game, you can also adjust what you want to start with. Now, some of these icons might look familiar, some of these icons might be different. If you have played ICBM with a couple of the mods, then this might look familiar. Or at least some of them might look familiar. And a lot of it has been assimilated into the base game. As for what I can start with, I currently have the auto settings, if you will, including army divisions. Yes, that's a thing now. We have air bases, tactical air bases, a carrier, resupply ships, destroyers, cruisers, submarines. This is everything that I'm starting with, including a landing ship, by the way, which can also carry armies, but again, more on that later. We have radar sites, security checkpoints, spec op teams, and over here you can essentially see the tech tree. Now, these numbers on the tech indicate how many points they're going to be required in order to get that. So in this case, I would have to spend 180 points to get the early ballistic missiles right from the start, which means I'd have to sacrifice, oh, I don't know, a cruiser and a fighter potentially, and be able to get that. So you can still go for a tech bonus at the expense of not having enough firepower, potentially, to defend yourself from armies, just to mention something. Aircraft tech, naval tech, smart weapons, air and missile defenses, radar systems, electronic warfare, satellites and space weapons, domestic technologies. There's a lot to play around with. I'm just gonna go and start in the atomic age, and we'll see how it goes. Okay. Before I deploy everything, I first want to have a look at the tech tree and the production menu, because this has been definitely cleaned up and changed relative to the previous game. We have the atomic age, and everything that you research in the atomic age, which is basically the first level of tech, is going to advance your tech level. And that means you're going to advance to the next age, which is going to be the space age. And with that, the second tier technologies become, let's say, easier to research. If you try to research something that's ahead of your time, you can, but be advised you're going to get a hefty penalty. If I were to go straight for pure fusion weapons, it would take me 45 hours. I don't think that's particularly feasible, so yeah, you're going to have to go and research a little bit more, let's say vertically. You're going to have to go through the columns And of course, you can pick something from here and go to naval tech and then go to radar systems. As long as you keep filling up that tech bar, you should be able to go to tier 2, tier 3, etc. What do I want? Well, considering that I am playing as Sub-Saharan Africa, I think naval assets are going to be fairly important just to guard my coasts. We also have the opportunity to invade Middle East North Africa. That's something I want to focus on, because that's one of the new mechanics. So I'm going to go to ground forces, and I'm going to research weapon modernization. As for aircraft technology, that might be helpful, just having some slightly better planes than they do. Yeah, I'm queuing this up, excellent. And then for naval stuff, naval tech, guided torpedoes, improved sonar, like this is all tier 2. Yeah, let's get a nuclear submarine. You can never go wrong with a nuclear submarine. Okay, so what do we have to deploy? Well, many things. Starting with army bases. These things actually allow you to deploy armies. And armies allow you to then deploy... allow you to capture territory. I'm just going to have a bunch of these bases set up in various locations. And if you click on, for example, the city of Nouakchott over there, it is part of the Mauritania region, which is now highlighted. This region can be captured if you control all the cities that this region has. So it's possible for me to walk into Nouakchott with an army. I mean, yes, theoretically it's possible. Practically, it's probably going to have some issues. And this would mean that I can take over this territory. And its GDP. They have apparently some very decent spies over there. They have some research and they have some economy. That's what those other indicators are. Of course, the bigger a region is, the more difficult it might be to conquer. This is one region, Italy, which would mean you have to conquer Milan, Rome, Naples, and Palermo. Good luck. That's not going to be easy, but if you do get it, it has a nice diversified economy, and it has a population of 12.6 million. So you're going to get potentially bigger rewards if you're able to conquer this. Anyway, we have our army bases deployed. I want to deploy a couple of army divisions. Let's just stack those into those army bases, which is where they're going to reside, until I see fit to pay my northerly neighbors a visit. We also have an airbase. I'm going to have this cover a bit more to the east, because I'm thinking that the eastern area might be a little bit more interesting to take over. This airbase has fighters and strategic bombers. We also have a tactical airbase. This is a slightly different animal, because it comes with fighters and multi-role attackers. You're also going to be able to research 2 other air bases as your technology progresses. What is happening there? Oh, that's just landscape. Jeez, I thought I was going to get nuked already. It's not likely though, because we have a peace time for 9:54 and we have a no nukes time for 15 minutes. So the first 15 minutes of the game, at least with the settings that I have, I should be safe. I can have a fighter patrol up, and I can have another fighter patrol up here, and a fighter patrol up there. Alright then, carrier. I can have a carrier battle group. I want to have that escorted by 2 destroyers. I want to have a cruiser in there. I want to have a resupply ship. A landing ship is something I don't really expect to need yet. But, you know, maybe Spain is going to be up for grabs at some point. So there's my carrier task force. I'm just going to have these guys do a bit of patrol. And that should do it. They're just going to be patrolling off the western coast that I have. Radar sites. Let's see if we can find anything out about the enemy, but you can see that we don't really get a very good look at the enemy. Simply because our radars at the moment are pretty shit. As your technology improves, these radars are going to get definitely better. Now the rest that I still have available is another carrier group, a resupply ship. I'll take the rest of the destroyers, the cruiser, yeah, and the landing ship, whatever. This is going to be patrolling off the coast of Madagascar. So, like that, they're going to be patrolling here and making sure that Asia Pacific or Central South Asia don't do anything stupid. What I want to try and do is link up with Central South Asia. So let's have a chat with them. The diplomacy screen relative to base ICBM has changed a lot, because you now have a lot more options. So what I'm going to do is talk to Middle East, Central South Asia. And I can suggest a partnership. I can also suggest a cooperation or even offer territory. But of course we're not going to do that. So let's offer a partnership and see if they want it. They want 5% of my production. No thank you. That is not going to happen. Can we share intel perhaps? No, they don't want to do that. I want to try and box in Middle East, North Africa. So maybe Europe is interested in making a deal. And that would allow me to go and box these guys in between the two of us. So, I offer a partnership. What do they want? They don't want anything. We have an alliance. Now, this alliance doesn't necessarily mean that we are doing anything together just yet. But I can change that. Because we now hold a faction together. I can see what their available technologies are. They have already unlocked early ballistic missiles and basic missile guidance systems. So they're doing quite well. As for the options, well, with other people, the alliance settings allow me to change what I am doing with my alliance. And the Geneva Convention is new. The Geneva Convention is something that allows you to figure out what you want to do with the rest of the world. But you do need a majority vote. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So you can ban a weapon and say, I think biological weapons are a bit much. But it was rejected, because 5 people objected to that. Oh well. I can extend the global ceasefire. Maybe people are going to agree to that. Shall we do that? Nope. 7, 8 objected. Bloodthirsty AI players here. Okay, so that's not going to work. Our alliance setting then. What I would like to do is alliance-wide radar sharing. And this way I can see what Europe can see. I would also like to do research sharing, but they don't want to do that. Can we do intelligence sharing? Yes, we can. Good. This means I don't have to spy on Europe as much as I should. I mean, yeah, you still can if you really want to, but I don't really feel that I should. As for production, what do I want to be building? More armies, potentially, to be better equipped to invade. But there are so many things that you have as options that it can be difficult to figure out what you want to build. Especially the first couple of playthroughs, I think, are going to be just figuring out, holy crap, I have so many options, what do I want to go for first? Such as having a forward operating base. It's probably not going to be very handy at the start, but it can be useful towards, let's say, an invasion. Because a FOB is going to allow you to drop it into enemy territory by engineers, and they will be repairing nearby friendly units. So if one of your armies has taken damage, you can set up a FOB, send them there, and they get repaired. Very valuable. Fixed military sites, coastal guns, radar sites. I'm thinking just building 5 additional radar sites. A couple of naval monitoring stations just to figure out what's going on. And I want to have security checkpoints. Because there are now covert units. Sneaky, sneaky bastards. Either in the form of spec op teams or bomb trucks. A bomb truck is a vehicle that can be loaded with anything from a car bomb all the way up to, I think, a fairly hefty megaton bomb. Goodbye monetization. And that is something that you just drive into enemy territory. A checkpoint is going to be able to spot that and eliminate it. And the same can be said for a checkpoint against a spec ops team. So they are very deadly in that sense. But of course, you cannot just keep spamming these things. It's going to eat into your production time. This means you'll have to make choices. And spec ops teams can also be deployed by helicopter. They can also be deployed by submarine. So it's possible to hit your enemies from angles that they simply don't expect using a spec ops team. You just evade all of their checkpoints and you just drop them off, I don't know, at the tip of South America, for example, and they just walk north. That's something you can do. Ships and submarines, I don't really feel like I need to build. Space warfare assets, I simply don't have any. I don't have any high-yield nuclear weapons. Tactical nuclear weapons, I don't have that. Specialized and none. So what I can basically do is, well, continue on building the Cold War era stuff without relying too heavily on the ability to go for additional, more nuclear-guided assets. Alright. I have 8 checkpoints. Good lord, the checkpoint radius is tiny. That's what they can see. Oh god. Okay, so we need to have these things overlap to make sure that no Spec Ops teams are going to walk in. Of course, you can take a different approach. You can say, I am not going to just have an enormous checkpoint line. I am going to have a checkpoint at more strategic locations, such as potentially around nuclear silos or command bases or stuff like that. So that's a different option that you have. And that is going to mean you don't have to build this enormous wall of checkpoints as I am. You don't strictly have to. Now, what I also want to have a look at, in more ways than one, is how much I am spying on my enemies. Where was that again? Sorry, the tutorial just sent so much information my way that I kind of forgot about exactly where that is going to be. Oh, we have South... Oh, crap. Central... Okay, so these guys are now allied. We have Central America and South America. These guys are allied. And we have North America... North America? And Central/South Asia. I don't know how these are going to be helping each other out. That's going to be very interesting to see. Okay. And the other ones have not allied themselves yet. But that can change. It can change quickly. Alright, our own Spec Ops team. I don't want to declare war on anybody just yet, if I don't strictly have to. So, let's not. Let's have a radar site there. And let's just run the game for a bit. After a while, I'm detecting a couple of army divisions on the move. I'm not sure if they're moving towards me, but this is where I'm getting the Civ vibes of... Please remove your troops from my borders. Because they're getting me a little nervous. Of course, I have an army base right on their border, so maybe I'm not one to talk. But it is something that I do really want to have a look at. Alliance-wise, we now have a slightly bigger alliance. I'm in cohorts with Europe and East Asia. So, Europe, Sub-Saharan Africa and East Asia are allied. We also see that South America and Asia Pacific and Middle East, North Africa are allied. So this does pose a fairly hefty problem. If I am going to attack Middle East, North Africa, there's a chance that I'm going to be at war with everybody. And I'm saying a chance because I'm not sure if they have a mutual defense treaty. If they don't, you can still have an alliance. You can still have all sorts of cooperations going, such as radar sharing or intelligence sharing or even research sharing, but you don't have to defend each other. And if that's the case, well, you just attack one party and maybe the other ones don't want to get involved. That's a very neat trick. That's something I could look into. Why are you now moving 3 divisions towards me? Are you just passing through, or is something else happening? We are definitely detecting some very... Oh. Okay, Russia and Europe started attacking each other. And seeing as I don't have a mutual defense alliance with the Europeans, they're going to be on their own against Russia. Tough luck. I could try and go on the offensive here. I could try and take the area here or the area here. And just cut this off entirely. Maybe that will work. I really only need to attack 3 different sites. That's the biggest key. As for firepower, I'm not so sure who has the bigger amount of firepower. Because I now have the small arms upgrade, but by the looks of it, I think they do too. Seeing as it's the slightly better small arms icon. So maybe they're not as fragile as I can make it out to be. Okay, let's go for an attack plan. This is the attack planner, but it's been expanded. It now has an advanced tab. And over here, you can do all sorts of weird and wonderful things. I can say I want to have attackers, such as, for example, Spec Op teams, or such as destroyers or SSBNs. Essentially anything that I have at the moment in my arsenal. I can have this go on the offensive. I can have, for example, invade options. So I can invade cities, and with that be able to engage cities automatically as part of a bigger plan, because you can have a plus and you can have something else happen at the same time. So in this case, what I want to do is destroy the tactical air bases here, here, And yeah, I think that's about all of them. At least that's the ones I can spot. So I want to have an engagement against this airbase and against this airbase. And both of them are sporting fighters. So in that sense, they can be dangerous. I also want to deploy my own Spec Ops team. And I want to start sending that into the region to figure out what else I can find. Because there might be more. So what we're going to do is use our own air bases. Tactical, makeshift airbase, doesn't matter. Specialized airbase, fine. I want to engage... what is it? Middle East, North Africa. And from them, I want to attack their tactical airbase. No, not a cruiser. Thank you very much. Makeshift and specialized airbase. Those are the highest priorities. Then, I potentially will be able to start pushing through. If you want to make this part of the advanced plan, you can also engage with an invasion group. So in this case, I can say... this invasion, what I want to attack here are cities. Which cities? Well, I can set the targets all by myself. In this case, let's see, we're attacking Middle East. What was that? We need to engage Mogadishu. So Somalia. Turn off North America, I don't need that. I think it's Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Somalia, Djibouti. Okay. Am I correct? No. Yeah, Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Somalia, Djibouti. That's the parts that I want to invade. So let's make sure that the armies are ready to go. I can move these armies by air transport, which is a very hefty way, or very handy way, of pushing these people to various different locations as and when you need them. So I can deploy them here, here, and here. And the airbase is going to spawn 3 aircraft and just deploy units. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. We're now at war. Gentlemen, I was just preparing for this. We're not supposed to actually go hot just yet. So what exactly did you destroy? They destroyed a radar site here. Interesting. Okay, so they got aircraft. Maybe I can have the Spec Ops team engage this. There's a checkpoint, so there's something that they potentially don't want me to find. Let's engage that airbase. Oh, there's another one here. Maybe we're going to have to execute this plan early. Execute the plan. As for these armies here... also, the combat engineers can also get deployed there. So let's start sending out these armies. And make sure that we have some troops in the field. Once armies start clashing, this is pretty much what you're going to see. A sort of push and pull between these two armies. And, well, they have 5 divisions. I have 1 holding down Omdurman. So I'm trying to strategically bomb them out of existence, but even the GBUs are essentially not really making a dent. And because of that, I think that this army division of mine is screwed. Thankfully, I'm kind of kiting the AI away from my real objective, or at least what I have now established to be my real objective, which is Djibouti and Hargeisa. Hargeisa is almost captured, I think. And the other one, Djibouti is... sorry, Mogadishu is already under our control. Time to occupy another 2 minutes. And you can see that we apparently are butchering civilians, even though I told them explicitly not to do that. But okay, this is what we're doing. The only one we still need to conquer is Djibouti. And they're not going to make that easy because there's a full health army division over there. So I'm going to take this fob. And I'm going to try and roll out that fob there. Hold my army, or at least try and make my army as strong as possible. Come on, pick up that fob. Need to conquer this place. 58 seconds. It's going to come right down to the wire, and I don't like that. Deploy that here. Ooh, I think they're going to win it. Yeah, my army engineers... sorry, my combat engineers can't actually attack anything. Ah, crap. Okay, fine. Pick up the fob. And prepare to fall back. Because we need to now hold Hargeisa down. You're going to go there. And we need more armies. That's really the key here. We need to get a few more of those army divisions. So let's build a couple of those. And then essentially just airlift them to Djibouti as quickly as possible. I'm also tasking the Navy Task Force to go there. Hopefully they'll be able to lend a hand. And over here in the northwest, I'm trying to occupy Nouakchott, which I think is the only city of this region. Yes, so if I take this, I'll be able to take the whole region from them. And this way, much different from ICBM previously, you can conquer territories. And you can really mess up people by doing it bit by bit by bit. And of course, yes, there are options to go for nuclear weapons later on. If you want to, you can potentially use a nuclear weapon. The problem with that is, do you really want to risk that? Do you really want to risk using a nuclear weapon on potentially what is your own territory? And I think that the answer most of the time is going to be no. Because your own territory is also doing your research, is also doing your production. So in this case, I could try and drop a nuke, well, potentially hitting either or both of these army divisions, but it might also pollute the territory that I'm trying to capture. Now, Nouakchott is 2 minutes away from getting captured. Very good. We have an enemy army destroyed. Enemy army destroyed. Very good. The army base, the air base is now waiting for new things to do. Well, I would love for the airbase to be able to engage the other divisions. Unfortunately, I don't strictly know where they are. Mine are heavily entrenched, and this does give them a defensive bonus. So if this army does want to have a go at it, they're welcome to try. But I think they might have a fairly hard time doing that. I'm going to push against this army division because I still want to take Djibouti. And I still want to be able to get that whole province. So ideally, right now we're going to be able to heal these guys up. Oh crap, there's another full health division. Yeah, this is going to be a problem. It's also going to be a long fight. So join me next time to see how well we're doing with the fight for Middle East/North Africa. I hope you are enjoying what you're seeing with this early part of ICBM. Keep in mind, plenty of things are subject to change. Plenty of things are, well, I'm not really sure if it's an early access build, but it's definitely going to be a little subject to change. Thank you for watching so far. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon for more. And with the destruction of that Adams-class ship, we are going to leave the episode here. The next part, the third and final part, we're going to see how many more targets I can take down. As I have mentioned before, unfortunately I cannot complete the scenario due to bugs, but those will ideally be resolved by the time that the actual early access hits. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video so far. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments, and I'll see you soon for part 3.